Hello and welcome to episode 50 of Let's Talk Immigration. Uh, I wanted to cover a few topics today and then I can jump directly to questions. Um, First topic is, should I be worried? That's frequently asked question. Should I be worried with what's going on in Israel and Gaza and how it might affect my immigration path? And the answer is yes. For 99% of those viewing. And that's for a couple reasons. But the first one is US embassies themselves, the physical US embassies, are experiencing heightened tensions because there's protest outside of them. There was a protest that kind of got out of hand at Beirut yesterday, the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon. And then there was also a bomb threat at the U.S. Embassy in Argentina, also the Israel Embassy in Argentina. The U.S. Marines is who protects foreign service workers at U.S. embassies abroad. And when they recognize threats, they say, hey, let's not let people in. So we could see interviews canceled. We could see consular processing stop at U.S. embassies as a result of the feelings toward the U.S. internationally due to our role in the U.S. complicity with what's going on in Gaza. Okay, there's other reasons too. Republicans trying to score political points are calling for revised policies with respect to immigrants, it's particularly non-immigrants, like students and people in the U.S. on work visas and stuff like that. Senator Marco Rubio has called for a bill. I think he's introduced the bill already that says that if you support Palestine, that you should be deported. It's insane. But also, on the bright side, Senator Marco Rubio has never, ever successfully got a law passed, to my knowledge. So maybe it might not pass, but it's dangerous rhetoric. Number three, you've got presidential hopefuls, candidates like Trump and DeSantis, promising to re-implement even a stronger version of Trump's Muslim ban that came from 2017. Having worked through that ban during the Trump administration, I can tell you that that is very difficult on families from immigrant families from specific countries. And so, and I expect it would be expanded if the Republicans are able to get control of the White House again, and it'll even be more countries. So lots of reasons to be nervous and have anxiety about immigration paths. But anxiety itself, doesn't help. So I prefer taking action. If you have a delayed immigration benefit, reach out to us, and maybe there's an option for a mandamus lawsuit that could possibly accelerate the adjudication of that immigration benefit. You've got to fight for what you want. That's the way I look at it. But think seriously if you really want to come to the U.S., because things are going crazy a little here. I also want to note that in Arkansas, Governor Huckabee signed a bill this week that says that they can take land away from this company that's affiliated with China because this land is doing research on seeds or something stupid. But it's not a good precedent that the U.S. is taking land away from China corporations. It's not the U.S. It's a specific state. It's a red state. Lots of crazy things going on in the U.S. So I wonder if I should just hop into questions. Is there anything else we need to talk about? That's most of the things I wanted to talk about. Let's jump into questions. Maybe other things will come up. Okay. Now, if you wanted to ask a question, the best places to ask are on our YouTube channel. There's a place to ask on the Telegram, but I don't know where to find that. But my team is watching that. If you post a question there, they'll share it with me. Also, Facebook. If you post a Facebook comment, it comes up here. So I've already got comments, questions ready to go. So I'm going to jump into them now. This one was waiting for me before the live started, 7 minutes early. Ela asked, in episode 47, I said we would ask Judge Mehta to expand the number of visas he reserved from 6,914 to 10,000. Is it going to happen after or when we win the appeal, and won't it take even more time? Great question. Okay, we did. It said we would ask, and actually it should be past tense because we did ask. In our motion for summary judgment in good luck, we did ask Judge Mehta to offer more relief, expand his relief in recalculating how many visas he reserved. Instead of 6,914, the number should have been closer to 10,000 based upon his reasoning. So we have already asked for it. Whether or not he wants to grant that would be in his order for summary judgment. That would not come until after the appeal. So your question is, would it happen if after we win the appeal? The answer is we would have the answer to whether or not he would do that in his order on summary judgment, which comes procedurally after we beat the appeal. You asked, won't it take more time? Which I think is asking if the request is delaying, is responsible for a delay, and I don't think so. I think that just the question alone, he can look at his math, he can think about whether or not he wants to expand his relief or not, and maybe while he's doing the decision, it might take him a couple more hours, but I don't think it's going to take anything like days or months to add to the decision. Now, it could cause the government to appeal the decision. Of course, they may appeal the decision anyway, just like we may appeal the decision. Try to appeal, I should say, because the Supreme Court is selective in what appeals they choose to hear from the Circuit Court of Appeals. So, I hope that answers your question. Rushing cases, also in your questions, I happen to figure yours out, but in your questions, identify yourself if you're talking about a specific lawsuit, okay? You're talking about good luck. Russian cases will have to be transferred to embassies in other countries. Won't this lead to the fact that no one would deal with our cases and we won't go into these 6,914 people? That is one thing that could happen. But another thing could happen is the Russian embassy could be open by the time this happens, okay? We do not know yet when we get the decision on the appeal and when we get summary judgment, and conditions would be different when that happened than what they are today, unless the opinions and everything happened today. So things change. The embassy that's cranking now could be the embassy that's going slow tomorrow. Okay. Abdu says, I'm ready. I'm ready too, but I don't know what you're ready for. Good work, Mr. Curtis. My name's Abdu from Togo. Hello, Abdu from Togo. Okay. Miriam says, what DV 2020? Okay. I think you're asking for an update on the Gomez matter. I'm not class counsel for Gomez, just so you know. I mean, I do represent several DV 2020 selectees, but I'm not Gomez class counsel. But I can give you an update, and the update is there's no update. We are waiting for the outcome of the appeal. Any news about DV 2020, DV 2021? Zygalo, are you a good luck plaintiff? Are you a Ray plaintiff? What embassy were you waiting on? You're giving me the least amount of information to give the biggest conclusion, you know? The majority of DV 2021 selectees, their journeys are over because they were not good luck plaintiffs. So Judge Mehta didn't do anything for them, and they were not waiting for interviews at the embassies that Judge Chutkan saved under her Ray order, or they were not plaintiffs in the Go lawsuit. So I don't know what your situation is, but I don't have any new news. Okay. The number is 9,095, not 694. Okay, this is why it's very important, Barry, that you all talk about context for your questions. Okay? When Ilya is talking about 6914, that's a good luck DV 2021 plaintiff. Remember, we got Judge Mehta to reserve 9,095 DV 2020 visas for the Gomez class in fiscal year 2020. But in 2021, we got Judge Mehta to reserve 6,914 visas for plaintiffs in good luck. So you're talking about two different lawsuits. Exactly. I had the number 45,000 DV 2021. I still have hope. I don't know exactly because, again, context. I don't know if you were a good luck plaintiff, and I don't know what embassy you were waiting on. Sabhor says, "Hi, sir. Hope you're doing great. I wanted to ask if there's any way for me to get an interview appointment in Pakistan. I'm an Afghan, and my wife, she's a citizen, and it's 10 months that I've been waiting." Hi, Sabor. The U.S. Embassy in Islamabad is the embassy that is performing the poorest amongst all embassies, in my view. It's understaffed, so can't blame it all on the consular officers. It's more decisions that have been made by the State Department that they, for whatever reason, Secretary Blinken wants to throttle immigration through Islamabad. That's affecting Afghans, and it's also affecting a lot of Pakistanis. So, if there's any way you could be interviewed at another country other than Islamabad, another U.S. embassy, I would recommend that probably. One option is you could pursue a mandamus lawsuit, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that. Contact me directly. Contact us directly. Okay. Hamish Morrison, how many person he will go in the case of DV 2021? The case of DV 2021, which case? I mean, there was Good Luck, there was Ray. I don't have enough information in that question to understand what you're asking. Are you a plaintiff in DV 20? Are you a plaintiff of Good Luck? Okay, Sabor says, and it's a marriage case, not a fiance. Some say it take more time, but it's almost a year, and I'm waiting for my interview. And there's a way that you help. Please help me add your email. Okay, if my team could put my email under the bottom, now would be a good time for that. Sabor, I'm glad you mentioned it's a marriage case. Islamabad marriage cases for IR1, spouses of U.S. citizens and CR1s, are looking at delays like 18 months minimum. I had a lawsuit called Naveed, where all the plaintiffs were waiting on Islamabad, and they had been DQ for a year. And eventually, all of them were scheduled. And then I have another lawsuit called Iqbal that's in that same situation where everybody's been waiting for interviews for a year. And actually, I went to Sacramento last Friday and made oral arguments in that case, which was fun. So, to recap, Islamabad is not a case where things happen quickly. Hashgar says Hamas could come to USA when you will see Democratic. I don't know what he's talking about. Hashgar, you sound insane. Anna says hello. Ken says, how long will it take for the court to make a decision on appeal? It has already been a year after the hearings has been done. How long will it take? DB 2020. So you're talking about Gomez. You're right. It's been 13 months since the oral arguments. Now, federal judges, including justices of Circuit Court of Appeals and our 3-judge panel, have discretion over how they manage their docket and which opinions they issue first and when they issue them. Okay, so I can't answer that question. Nobody can answer that question. There's no reason to ask that question because it's a answer that cannot be known. We do not know when that will happen. Hopefully soon. Richard from Liberia. Hello, Richard from Liberia. Do we have any update on Good Luck? We do not have any update on Good Luck. We are waiting for the outcome of the appeal. Zigalo says, I'm a Good Luck plaintiff from Africa, Morocco. Still hope? Yes, still hope. Why would you wait? Why would you file a lawsuit in 2021, wait 3 years, and then decide, oh, I don't have hope right before the opinion comes out? You know, like, yes, there's still reason to have hope. It would be premature to give up hope. Sabor says, so the lawsuit case that you said, is it going to help? Okay, great question. Sabor is talking about the Iqbal lawsuit that I have pending, Iqbal versus Blinken, that's pending in the Eastern District of California, that I went up and made oral arguments on Saturday. The oral arguments were on the government's motion to dismiss. If we survive the motion to dismiss, I think that there is a very good chance that policies are going to change at U.S. Embassy Islamabad to make our case go away, because they don't want to lose in court, right? The judge seemed sympathetic to some of our arguments, so in ways that I wasn't not predicting. We have a challenge to the understaffing scheme at Islamabad, and the judge made the point to the government attorney that wouldn't that give us standing, since the government admits that the embassy is understaffed, and we alleged it was understaffed. This interesting point is, I have actually ordered the transcript from that hearing, and we'll distribute it online when I get it in a few days. But to answer the question, I don't know if the lawsuit will help. I do hope to be suing the State Department over Islamabad again. I'm not getting that much demand from the Pakistani community, but maybe the Afghan community might be interested in that. Lawsuits are not free. They cost money. So I need families who are willing to spend money to be able to bring group lawsuits. Not a lot of money, though. I mean, if there's multiple participants, group lawsuits can be affordable. Okay. You said the Russian embassy could be open by the time we win the appeal, but many Russians are not in Russia, and it might not be open. You're not in Russia today. I don't know where you're going to be when we win the appeal, right? Low chance. It might not be open. What do we do then? Okay. If you ask me a question about what to do then, I'll let you know. But I can't tell you. I mean, there's like 17,000 hypothetical situations going on in this question. You have to wait and see. I mean, that's all I could tell you. I mean, if the State Department allows us to change interview locations, we're going to change interview locations for the people, our clients that are assigned to embassies that they cannot get to. We will do everything we can. Buenote Wanda? Okay, not sure what that means. Abdurrahman says, hi, sir. I am willing to pay double the price of the case if I obtain a work visa to the U.S. Are there any other ways to get it? in other sense, is there any other method to immigrate to the USA? I'm not seeing what the. Okay, so you're saying work visa. Are there other ways to immigrate to the USA besides the work visa? Depending on your nationality, you could be eligible to enter the diversity visa lottery program. The entry period is only for a few weeks every year, and it's going on right now in October. So I recommend you enter the DV lottery if you are eligible. Another route, if you happen to be wealthy, is an EB5 visa. If you have $1 million to invest in the United States, that's a program that can be helpful. It's a very fact-specific question here, because like if you are a person of exceptional ability, a scientist, science published, or just at the top of your field, there's a chance you could be qualified for another kind of employment visa. Just need to reach it out to us with your situation. There's nothing about you in this question, which is better because those kind of questions don't work well like this. Zagalu says, thank you, sir. Stavine says, tell me what's that about the history of Gomez class, DV20. We have children's and the result not bad. Okay. So the history. Gomez was a lawsuit that was filed, and then we filed 3 lawsuits after it. Muhammad, Fong, Jong, and Kennedy. And then at the last minute, all of the attorneys arguing before the same judge, the judge decided to give relief to everyone, but limited relief. And he did it through Gomez as a vehicle. So it's called the Gomez class. You are a member of Gomez class automatically if you were not issued a visa in DV 2020. If you were a DV 2020 selectee or applicant who was not issued a visa. Okay, so it says we have children's and the results not back yet. I assume that you mean you had children since the end of fiscal year 2020. And that could be a problem because they are not class members, and we do not know how the order will be interpreted by the State Department on whether or not they will be eligible or not. There's a couple different interpretations of that. So worst case is we lose the appeal. Second worst case is part of your family gets interviewed, or actually your family doesn't get interviewed. Third worst case, your family gets interviewed, but they can't bring the children, and they have to come to the U.S., and then we could petition for the children, and they could join in 2.5 to 4 years. Our best case is the State Department, best case for you, is that the State Department interprets the language to mean selectees and allows selectees derivatives at the time of the interview to be issued visas. Don't know how that's going to work. Have to wait and see. This is intense. Okay. Sabor says, what can you suggest to me, sir? What's the best option for me to go for? And if I transfer my case to another country, is the 10 months that I have been waiting count or not in the new country? Sabor, if your beneficiary, you are the beneficiary, I think, can move heaven and earth. If you can be in another country with a U.S. embassy other than Pakistan and Islamabad, do it. Okay. You ask if the 10 months is going to count at the new country. Count toward what? There's no embassy. There's no backlog at the majority of U.S. embassies. Like if you go to Madrid or if you go to Paris, and you're an immigrant visa applicant, they're going to schedule you for an interview. You're not going to wait months. This is only something that's happening at Islamabad and the 3 embassies that service Iranians, Ankara, Yerevan, and Abu Dhabi, with Abu Dhabi and Ankara being the worst. And a couple embassies in Africa. I think Nairobi is one. So, okay. So yes, if you can find another country, do that. Is the process of care center in Afghanistan active or not? I don't know what the process of care center in Afghanistan is, so I can't answer that question because I don't understand the question. Okay, that was a lot. Thank you for joining me for this week's episode of Let's Talk Immigration. No last minute questions. Okay. Um, let's be careful out there. Okay. And if you're eligible for an immigration benefit right now and it's being delayed, please reach out to me or another immigration attorney and get it done, because the future does not look, the short-term future over the next few months, a couple, probably the next year, does not look good. Things are not going to get better. They will probably get worse before they get better. So the sooner you take action to make something happen, the better off you are. I got one more. I got a good question here. Bro says, what about the DV 2021 selectees and good luck lawsuits who are now in the U.S.? I'm going to expand the question. It also applies to the DV 2020 selectees here, GOMAS class members. Okay. Whether or not first of all, we'd have to win the appeal. If we beat the appeal, the Biden administration's appeal, and then it's a little different for DV 2020 to DV 2021 because good luck. We'd also have to win summary judgment. We've already won summary judgment for DV 2020. But if we win summary judgment, whether or not those visas would be available to be redeemed as green cards in the U.S. through the adjustment of status process is a determination by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the State Department and how they interpret the order. Well, for good luck, that order has not been issued yet because we haven't won on summary judgment. So the question is how they would be interpreting an order that doesn't exist yet. For Gomez, I've asked the government attorneys and they have not answered. They say that they haven't decided yet. Not them. The departments haven't decided. And I don't think the departments will decide until they're forced to decide. Also, because of the nature of the United States government, I don't think that they're going to announce whether or not when they've decided. I think the only way we're going to find out is we're going to try to adjust status after we beat the appeal and win summary judgment. So, and it's going to be sort of a gamble. You don't know if it's going to work or not. There are other obstacles to whether DV 2021 selectees and good luck could adjust status besides that, because to adjust status in the United States, you have to have lawful status. So if you came in the U.S. At the southern border, you come on a tourist visa and you overstayed the visa, both of those situations would make it unlikely that you would be able to adjust status. Okay. So that was my way to say we don't know, but we will find out someday. Sabor says, thank you. Stephen Bay says, I'm in Canada, waiting this chance forever. Tell me what I'm doing. I'm a member class in the Gomez class. Okay. Well, Canada's a beautiful place. There are worse places you could be waiting for the outcome of the Gomez order. So I can doing what I can. I don't understand your question though. Is there anything you can do to speed this up? No, if that's your question. Sabor says, before you leave, I want to ask that in other countries it doesn't have line, like you said, Pakistan, minimum time for marriage case is 18 months. Is that the same with other countries or just Pakistan? That's just Pakistan. If you have an approved I-130 petition and your beneficiary is a resident of Spain, they're going to pop into that embassy in a month or two and be issued a visa if they're eligible for the visa. There's no 18-month wait, except that's an Islamabad thing, and that's why I've filed now not one but two group lawsuits against the policies at Islamabad. So Generally, the community that is putting up with that, the services at US Islamabad, they're not into attorneys, they're not into lawsuits. So it's been difficult to persuade and to offer that option, because there just doesn't seem to be a demand for it. Everybody's okay, we'll wait 18 months. And I'm like, I recommend that you don't wait 18 months. I recommend that you fight like hell for what you want. Okay. Bro is Alvin, my YouTuber friend with French community audience. Hello. Bonjour, bro. Okay. That wraps up this week's episode of Let's Talk Immigration. See you next Wednesday. You're welcome, support.